the decision that OPEC has just made, OPEC and OPEC Plus, is not surprising because the OPEC is watching the United States sanction Russia. Russia is certainly the aggressor. Sanctions may well be indicated. I don't think that's unreasonable. But just sanctioning a commodity does not stop it flowing on international markets. And there has been talk of price capping Russian crude. And there's a concern in OPEC, if you're going to price cap Russian crude, will you next price cap crude globally? So that's one concern. The second concern is the number one commodity in Saudi Arabia and this region is petroleum and gas. For instance, Oman, 90% of the economy is reliant on petroleum. So if this now becomes devalued in a volatile market, entire economies are placed in peril, and they, like us, have got to buy everything else, which is experiencing inflation. So it's a very practical.
And Doctor, here's how I took when Saudi Arabia said, "You're right, Mr. Biden, we're not going to drop it by 1 million barrels a day. We're going to make it 2 million barrels a day." To me, it was a declaration of, we are not going to destroy our economy while you attack energy, hydrocarbon energy, being oil and gas and so forth. We're not going to let Saudi Arabia go broke because you have some misdirected idea that you're going to save the planet with windmills and solar panels, which, of course, they're not going to save the planet with those things. They're more destructive in many regards than hydrocarbons or fossil fuels, if you will, are. So why would Saudi Arabia or the United Arab Emirates or any of the others just sit idly by and let Joe Biden and the globalists try to destroy the energy sector? It's the right move because Saudi Arabia is not just going to go broke with a smile on their face, are they?
Well, Steve, I mean, just to give you a bit more context, as I flew over here, I was sitting next to, on one flight, I was sitting next to the chief operating officer of Al Yamama Steel, which is the biggest steel manufacturer in Saudi Arabia. On another flight, I sat next to a leader in the private investment fund, which is the sovereign wealth fund here for Saudi Arabia. And his task is recyclables and waste management. Saudi Arabia is investing in alternative fuels, but doing it rationally. Nobody expects this to be switched overnight. And the implementation of these efforts in the United States is what's caused this incredible volatility in international commodity markets. That's a major factor, not only sanctioning Russia for Russia's aggression. Notice we've sanctioned Venezuelan oil for many years, and Venezuela, which is sanctioned by the US, and Iran, that is also sanctioned by the US, but perhaps will remove those sanctions. Venezuela and Iran have signed a 25-year agreement of cooperation. So sanctioned crude keeps flowing. These markets are independent of geopolitics, but you can certainly overheat them.